Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the IADD Open House. My name is Jenny Holliday, and I am the CEO of the IADD, which is the International Association of Die Cutting and Die Making. In 2022, IADD celebrated its 50th anniversary as an association, and that is thanks to you, our leaders, our members, our participants. To extend the celebration a bit, since now it's 2023, and to ensure members around the world could participate, we've just concluded 8 weeks of online trivia with the grand prize winner to be announced during this event. But first, we are going to focus on the people who make up the IADD and why they are involved with our organization. So I will start with the president of the IADD Board of Directors, which is the highest voluntary position within the association. As with all board members, the president is, as I said, a volunteer. They are nominated and elected from within the IADD membership. So I would like to introduce to you Jennifer Thoroe, the president of IADD.
Thanks, Jenny. I am Jennifer Thoroe of National Steel Rule, and I'm honored to be serving as your president of the IADD. I want to thank everyone for coming and quickly introduce the staff of the IADD for you. Our association has 5 full-time paid staff who bring their organizational expertise to help members receive valuable benefits, achieve their goals, and improve the industry. You've already met our CEO, Jenny Holliday, but you should know she's been with the IADD for 11 years. Next is Leanne Schimming. Leanne is in charge of chapters, volunteers, and education coordinator and has been with the IADD the past 4 years. Next is Cassie Mills. Cassie is the membership and publications coordinator who has celebrated 2 years at IADD. And coming up next is Sarah Best, who has been with the IADD for a little over a year now and is the marketing and media coordinator. And lastly, we've got Katie Sweeney. Katie is the meetings and technical service coordinator who will reach her 1-year anniversary with the IADD tomorrow. Congratulations. I would like to thank the staff for their continued efforts to support members and pushing our industry forward. Before we kick things off, there are a few housekeeping details. The length of today's call will be 60 minutes. If you haven't already done so, we suggest you click now at the bottom of your screen to open up the chat. Anytime you have a question, please post it in here. This can be done at any time during the meeting, and Leanne will monitor and present those questions. We'd also like to remind you of our antitrust statement. IADD is an international trade association, and as such, members are bound to uphold the letter and spirit of all applicable competition and antitrust laws, including those of the US and Canada. During this meeting, there will be no discussions allowed concerning prices, customer or market allocations, specific accounts, discount terms, and all other matters prohibited by law. If that happens, we will have to end the call immediately, so there will be no violation of the antitrust laws. To begin, I wanted to highlight the fact that the IADD has been around for 50 years, which is such an achievement. As a way to continue the celebration, we have put together an 8-week-long trivia contest. The winner will be announced at the end, so please be sure to stick around. Being a successful organization for 50 years is no small feat. This has only been possible through the collaboration of staff, members, and participants. IADD provides countless resources, but the biggest benefit comes by way of volunteer opportunities. As many of us say, the more you put in, the more you get out. To further explain why volunteering can be such a benefit, I would like to welcome our panelists for today. To gain a little more insight into each panelist, after their introduction, there will be a question presented in the poll. We ask that you pick the answer that you feel fits the panelists best. To get started, I would like to introduce everyone to Giacomo Farne.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. I've been in the industry since 10 years now. The first time I joined IADD was 2015, and then I joined the board in 2017. And from that time to today, I'm still in. I'm very happy to be in.
Excellent. Thank you, Giacomo, for joining us. I'd like to open this for our first poll question. We asked Giacomo, if your hometown was a food dish, what would it be? Please take a moment to pick which answer you think fits Giacomo best. Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much for your responses. Giacomo's actual response was tortellini. Very exciting. How fun.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's my hometown dish, so it's correct.
Excellent. It's a good choice. Good choice. Next up, let's introduce you, please, to Hector Ramirez.
There we go. It sounds better when the unmute's off. Good morning, guys. My name is Hector Ramirez. I've been in the industry since 1987, 36 years. I've been a member of the IADD since 2003, and my current position is Vice Chairman of the Southwest Chapter. And I'm very happy to be here and to be talking to you guys today.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Hector. We appreciate it. Let's go ahead and put up your poll question. We asked Hector, if you had a superpower, what would it be? If you could please take a moment and answer what you think fits Hector best. All right, perfect. Hector's actual response was time travel. So if you guessed time travel, you got that correct.
Very
Hector,
good.
any opinion on that?
Well, I think with time travel, as you know, any of you sci-fi guys out there or girls, you know, you can achieve a lot, go back and fix things that might not have been, we might not have gotten the results the first time around that we have, you know, and I've always been an advocate of learning from somebody else's mistakes, but if I can go back and fix my own that can benefit somebody else, awesome.
Perfect. I love your reasoning.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Hector. Next, we've got Sarah Farley.
Thanks for having me. I'm a newbie to the industry. I'm 4 years in. This is my first year actually being an official member of the IADD, but I've helped with a couple golf tournaments, which was lots of fun.
Yes, excellent. We always love having your help, Sarah. Let's go ahead and open up the poll question that we've asked you. We asked Sarah, what famous person, dead or alive, would you have dinner with? If you could please take a moment to pick what answer you believe is Sarah's. All right. Sarah's response was Will Ferrell. Sarah,
I had them a little
what would you be discussing over dinner with Will?
Absolutely everything and nothing at the same time. That is the whole goal. I don't even want to talk. I just want to laugh.
Yes. He is the man for that. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce everybody to Brent Stevens.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm very happy to be here. I've been in our wonderful industry for 31 years. I officially joined the IADD in October of 2019, and that was my first board meeting. And I am currently have the position of Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and I love being engaged with the team at the IADD. So looking forward to sharing with you all.
Excellent. And we love having you, Brent. Let's open up your poll question and ask everybody, how long would you survive in a zombie apocalypse? So how long do we think Brent would be able to last? All right, and Brent's actual response was a long time. Sounds like you're pretty prepared for this, Brent.
I am an outdoors person that loves everything, and I live very close to the Rocky Mountains. So, you know, I would just escape to my favorite place.
Perfect. Well, I still hope it doesn't come to this, but no. Now that we all know our panelists a little bit better, let's dive into some of the reasons they have been involved with the IADD. During this time, please feel free to ask any questions you have into the chat and we will be sure to get to them. I would like to begin by asking, what pushed each of you to volunteer with the IADD and why did you feel it was so important? Giacomo, let's begin with you, and if we could just go down the line.
Yeah, when I was introduced to this industry 10 years ago, I was really a rookie, so I had to learn everything about it, and I tried to find ways to connect with people and to learn more as possible. So I joined a lot of events and so on, and when I meet IADD, I immediately understood that that was the right place to be to learn more and meet the right people, and also meet people that could really help me to grow up as a professional in this industry. And after that, I really understood that it was also a very open association. Everybody was really ready to share informations and everything. So this really pushed me to move forward. And it was really interesting for me coming from Europe, finding a situation like this, an environment so open. So it was really a nice surprise, and that's the reason why I'm keeping on. So it was really good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hector, would you be able to share the same? You are muted, sir.
Muted. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I was brought into this industry just for the mere fact that I needed to get my dye tools quickly. And so I started the dye shop, and basically anything that I knew that I learned was information that I had obtained myself or through whatever processes that I could. When I was introduced to the IADD, it was like, wait a minute, these people have a vast amount of knowledge that is free to me, and I don't need to reinvent the wheel here, and something like that was like awesome to me. It was like, studying something or being a car enthusiast and seeing a magazine that just gave you what you needed, and to follow. And so, although I prided myself in being knowledgeable enough to build my own business, at the same time being a business owner, no man is an island, and I learned that, and knowing that when I did become involved, or just going to the meetings for the first few years, that I was learning a lot and bringing back to my team, and I was making my team stronger, so that was huge. That was huge. That's something that you can't get, out there. A lot of times you have competitors, it's an open forum, just like Giacomo had said, and that's awesome. So just learning and then also giving back, that's when I joined. I wanted to give back from what I learned. So that's basically it.
Perfect. Very well said. Thank you, Hector. Sarah, would you be willing to share your answer?
Absolutely. So when I volunteered for the first golf tournament, I was brand new to the company. I was just learning the industry as a whole. I came from a restaurant, so I really didn't have any foundation. I didn't really know anyone at that time. I think I'd only met you, Jennifer, and Eddie Mucci, and really didn't know anybody. So coming into it was really nice to, sorry, of course they called in as soon as I paid talking to you guys. So volunteering, I was a little bit nervous starting off, and then it was nice to meet everybody and to not have the feeling of, competitors or anything else. It was just a really nice, welcoming team. And I formed a lot of bonds with people from that very first time, and even the next year going, that really have helped me through the industry where we work together. And it made me want to be part of the team and make everybody else kind of understand that there's no pressure to it. It's really an open, inviting environment. And really, it's a nice kind of escape from day-to-day life. So it was important to me to join and to get other people to understand that this isn't adding work to your plate, but it's actually taking some of that weight off your shoulders.
Perfect. I couldn't agree more. Thank you. And Brent, can you tell us a little bit about yours?
Yeah, so I grew up in a dye making family. Both my father and uncle were dye makers and owned their own business. My father was engaged as a member of the IADD, but not active. But my uncle was very active, and I got to work while working for him in 1999. Experience my first chapter meeting, and I got a wealth of information and got to stand next to a die cutting press. And to this day, oh gosh, 26 years later, I still have that same information that I got at that very first chapter meeting that I keep with me. Fast forward to 2019, I did a bunch of things in between, and I got asked to actually be a part of the board. And I was super excited because one thing in my career that I am extremely passionate about is sharing the knowledge that I've learned. Because in doing so, you also reciprocate. Information gets shared with you, and you learn and you grow as well.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing. All right, the next question I've got for you guys is, what would you say your average time commitment is for volunteering with the IADD? Giacomo, let's go ahead and start with you again, please.
Well, now that I'm director for membership, I would say maybe 1 hour a week. If we, of course, it takes more time when I travel for the board meeting and whatever, but it's really a nice time. So I'm really happy to have to spend that time like this. But when I'm at home, I would say 1 hour a week, yeah, for calls or emails and so on. So it's not a huge amount of time, but in the other side, we can make a difference. So, and we can help the association to grow up and the industry also to develop. So it's a good time to spend. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Hector, what would you say it is for you?
I say Giacomo's spot on. You know, it's not a lot of time needed to invest that when you're focusing in it and you're working on whether it's a project or a technical project that I'm working on for Odyssey, or finding a place to have a meeting. But again, 1.5 hours a week at the most, 5 hours a month, 6 hours. So it's not a lot of time at all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Sarah, what do you find yourself spending so far?
So being brand new to it, I really haven't had to, this being the first official year, I really haven't had to dedicate much time to it at all. So I would say the guys are pretty spot on. It's very minimal timing to it. That's the part that was really most nerve-wracking for me, was that I didn't think I could dedicate enough time to be part of the team. And it really does not take that much time at all.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Brent?
On average, about 1 hour to 2 hours a week. But it's solely dependent on how involved you want to be as well. And the more engaged you want to be, the more time you need to open up in your bandwidth. But as an association, we have a priority list, and that is family, personal business, and then the association. And that is something that the association takes very seriously and is very accommodating. So the association knows that we are personal beings as well as business beings, and they want us to be fully engaged to be successful in those two avenues first, so we can be successful in our time spent volunteering for the IADD.
Absolutely. Well said. And I myself have seen my volunteer time fluctuate over the years that I've been involved with the association, now being a little bit heavier with being president, but there were times that I had scaled back a little bit and times that I had pushed. So love all your answers though. Thank you for sharing. Brent, this next question is for you again. Why was it important for you to be directly involved and not just hear about this from others?
Well, going back to my first experience, and it was an excellent experience, and I learned a lot, and I got to see that free form sharing of information. And, you know, like I previously said, I am very passionate about sharing information and becoming better and helping others to be better. And what better way to use better a lot than to be engaged and to be active in the IADD. And it's extremely rewarding when you get to sit in a room full of like-minded people and share ideas and brainstorm and come up with a shared goal.
Perfect. I couldn't think of a better answer myself, sir. Sarah, this question is for you. What benefits have you personally gained from being a volunteer?
I've gained a lot of knowledge. There's so many different people that I've gotten to interact with that I didn't have the ability to before, that have really given a lot of insight, like how Brent would be, you know, giving a lot of insight and different perspectives on things, because there's not always one right way to do it. And it's nice to have those conversations with people and to kind of have that open forum to talk about things. And I've met a lot of great people that are friends to me now that I can really rely on. So it's been great.
Perfect. Absolutely. Thank you. Hector, what would you say you have been able to see as a direct impact from your time spent volunteering with IADD?
Well, I think a direct impact would be the camaraderie that I've had with various companies throughout, you know, internationally and nationally. If we've ever run into, you know, some type of pickle here that I couldn't figure out, I could jump on the phone and call, you know, a Ben Hazard or a Rick Putsch or something. The accessibility to the team, because guys, it's really your team, right? I mean, again, us getting out there and learning things, but also sharing this knowledge. It doesn't stop at the meeting. You know, it doesn't stop at logging on and trying to look up some old article on how to do things. It's like, if it's truly not understand, you have your team behind you. And I think that camaraderie and knowing that even though we're a family-owned business, we have that backing of the association. So that's a great thing, very powerful thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Giacomo, this one is for you, sir. How did you discuss being involved with the IADD to your boss?
Well, at the beginning, because my boss is also owning a dye shop, I thought him that we need to expand our vision and be connected with also with people from outside Europe and so on. And that was the first step. Then when I really understood what IADD could give us as a connection and knowledge and meeting people, I also explained him that, I mean, we are, let's say, still pretty young. My boss is 40 years old and I'm 42, and we need to work a lot of time. And being involved with IADD means that we also can leave our footprint in the industry and try to make something for the industry also for the future. Not as let's say my company member, but really as a person. And my boss understood it, and so is really happy that I'm involved with that, and I'm participating to meetings and to the shows and whatever. So I'm lucky, and my boss never complained for the time that I spend for IADD and for the time travels and whatever. So it's we are really on the same line with him. And in my opinion, explaining to the company how much you can have back from volunteering and participating to IADD activities will really convince them to let you have your time with this.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Definitely some things to think about there.
And Jennifer, just a quick question. You know, are there virtual or remote opportunities, or do you find that, you know, you do have to be in person for a lot of the different positions available?
It's definitely a mixed bag. So there are opportunities whether you can be in person or virtual. So one of the blessings, I would say, that COVID has led us to was that we all learned how to navigate that virtual world pretty quickly here. So we did see in the association that has been a benefit to be able to throw meetings like the one we're on today together. Perfect. All right, the last two questions will be for each of you. We'll go down the line again. If you could share, what is the most memorable experience that you've made with the IADD? Sarah, if we could begin with you, please.
Sure. So far, I've only been given the opportunity to go to the golf tournaments, which is memorable in itself. If you guys have ever been, it is a great time. But I know there's really two highlights for me. One, I don't know if you guys know Ann Barrett, but we got lost on a golf cart in the middle of the course. We were destined to find a team all the way on the other side, and we couldn't figure it out. And we didn't know how to drive it, so we went backward for a while. So that was always a good time. But besides that, I think that feeling when I walked into my first golf tournament was everything for me. I was extremely nervous. It was the first time I met Ann. And as soon as I turned the corner, you and Ed Mucci had greeted me. And I think it was just this sigh of relief. So just, that feeling of just comfort. This is what I want to do, where I want to be. It was that initial moment that I felt it and was like, I think I could be part of this team.
Awesome.
So it was really nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Brent, what would you say is one of yours?
My first board meeting. First off, it was in New Orleans, which was pretty cool. I had never been there, but it was my first experience of going to a meeting, and I knew you, Jennifer. I also knew Natalie and a couple of other ones, but the rest of everybody, it was a new experience. And within 10 or 15 minutes of being engaged, it was just like an old hat. And it was opening and inviting, and just the camaraderie that was built, as well as the information that we were all sharing and felt free to share, for the health of the association.
Perfect. Thank you. And Hector, what would you say is yours?
I think it would be when we were in Chicago a few years back, Odyssey, and being a business owner, you have visitors, like a Giacomo or Eddie Mucci come to your business. But when you get there and all the players are there, and you get to see all your friends, because you become friends, throughout the industry and stuff, and you're working with them, and you're learning with them, you're sitting side by side with them, learning the same information, but then after it's like, hey, let's all go to the Cubs game, we get in the car and we all go to the Cubs. Yeah. And we head out, get in the car and do the Cubs game. We're having a blast and everything like that. So it's not only the learning experience, but I would say the gathering of all our friends or comrades and coming together. That totally sold me on traveling and getting with the IADD, and not just getting involved in my local chapter here, but going abroad and the travel, right? You got to go out and see other places. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And Giacomo, what would you say yours is?
I would say a couple of them. The first one was on my first annual meeting in Savannah. I was not in the board yet, but I remember I didn't know almost anybody in the room. But I remember Darrell Griffin was president at that time, and he was so kind with me, introduced me to everybody, and that was a good moment. And I immediately understood that everybody was there with the same goal, with the same aim, and not just to, let's say, represent their company. We were there for the association, and it was really a good first approach to the association and to the industry. So it was a really nice moment. And then, of course, I would say when last year Gino awarded me and Baldwin with the presidential award, that was pretty unexpected, but really emotional for me. And so it was a really nice moment, and I could not forget it. So it was really nice.
Fantastic. And it was a well-deserved award, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jennifer, we've got a couple questions, actually, if I can interject here. So we've got a question about how you went about finding an open position and deciding sort of which area to volunteer in. So I don't know if I could pick on you, maybe Brent, to answer that one first.
So a colleague of mine that when I became part of SDS asked me if I would be willing to serve as obviously a member of the IADD, but as well as on the board. And then I was interviewed by that time CEO Cindy Krause, and we talked, and then I got to speak with Gino Gutierrez, the past president, before Jennifer, and lo and behold, they offered me the position. I started out as one of the directors on the board level of education, and I did that for a year, and then I was asked to serve as the vice president of sales and marketing, and I happily accepted.
Anybody else, if they could share maybe how they got invited or found the position that they're currently serving in?
Sure. I was also invited by a vendor, Wagner and Sons. They had come up and they had known that for this, there was an opening, or that they were at least going to start voting on having the local chapter members. And again, I'd been to many IADD meetings, technical seminars, and kind of was there at the back of the classroom looking and learning, and thought, you know what, it's not going to take a ton of time. I've received so much, and I think it's time for me to get involved. You know, I would listen to things and hear stuff and kind of have that little bit. I have something to add to that. You know, this isn't an industry that where you go to a college, or, you know, you have Clemson and for die cutting and all that other stuff. But let's face it, guys, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, right? We've learned, and we come up through this industry, and we have a lot of knowledge that we've learned. You know, experiences weighs very heavy in this industry. And as you grow and you learn, you know, it's time to give back, you know, and that's when I thought it's time for me to get up there and add to the team and be a part of a leader of the team. So I accepted. That year was COVID. The person that was I was vice chairman. The chairman had to step down for reasons, so I kind of fulfilled that. Wasn't a lot going on, but I did learn the importance of what it is. And so now it's my second term and I'm vice chairman. So that's how I got involved.
Yeah. Okay. We do have another question, if I can ask. The question came in: what is something you are excited to be working on right now, or that you have sort of coming up in either your committee work, the chapter side, or even at the board levels? I don't know. Jack Paul, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, exactly. Well, in this moment, in the last, let's say in the last month, we are working to invite as much people as possible to Odyssey. And because because I'm involved with membership, we know that occasion will be really good to have new members and engage new people. So we are really focusing on this project. And for the future, I'm pretty excited to think about the next exchange program, because we have to work on it, of course, together with the marketing committee and so on. But also for my committee, it will be really important to have an exchange outside the US, maybe. So, there are a few projects in the plan, and we are really excited to follow them. Yeah.
And Brent, I know you had your hand up as well.
Well, obviously, we have our Odyssey show coming up in May 10th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So there's lots of activities going on about that. And that's exciting. Finally, to be back in person at our trade show for us is pretty awesome, because the last one was in 2019. So that's one thing. But what I am truly excited for is being part of the discussion and part of the team that's going to help move the IADD forward for the next 50 years, because times change and we know we need to meet the times, but also, to the best of our ability, foresee some of what the future needs to hold. And there are a couple of things that everybody needs to be looking for that's coming soon. We did Die Cutting 101, a video and education opportunity, but we now have Die Making 101 coming that everybody needs to check out, because a lot of time and effort of your association went into the development of this. And I truly believe that that passion will come through when you get to go through that process. And it's also a great thing for your team.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. Were there any other questions that you wanted to sneak in, Leanne, or am I good to go?
There's one more actually,
Perfect.
and this is more related to how you feel your volunteering efforts at IADD impact the industry as a whole. So I know many of you have talked about kind of the relationship building side of this, but if someone would be willing to share how they see IADD changing the industry or impacting it overall.
I'll take that one. For me, making an impact, we know that the industry's changing quite a bit, right? And everything is evolving. Digital printers, digital die cutting, which are CAD cutters, old style clamshell die cutters, high speed cutters. So looking at that and just seeing overall and combining a lot of those new technologies that are actually, you know, that you would think CAD cutting and stuff would take away from our industry, but they're actually adding back, because we know that, you know, smaller runs, you're running on a CAD cutter, but at some point, you know, a customer can only run that CAD cutter, you know, 24 hours a day. So when the die maker comes back involved, or the die cutter comes back, which the IADD represents both die makers and die cutters, we find that we're able to offer those people that have come up through this digital age, you know, a small printer and then a CAD cutter, and then they're going from 200 to 300 to 500 boxes to 2,000 boxes, and they can't keep up, you know, and they can't afford a secondary machine. You know, they're reaching back and looking, and it's as far as my locally here with my business, I reach out to those printers now and say, hey, there is an option. It's called die cutting and die making. You don't need to CAD cut this stuff, guys. You don't need to stay here and like Brett said, you know, you got a family. You don't need to be here 24 hours a day on the weekend because you got a huge job. That should be a blessing, not a curse. So if we can get them back and say, hey, look at this, this is all good, you know, and I strongly, you know, all for the digital age, but at the same time, when it comes to the CAD, the die making and the die cutting, you know, we're a solution for those companies still. So we are still very vibrant, you know, not only volatile for everything we do. So that's what I see.
Perfect. Thank you, Hector. Well, I'll ask that you actually continue with that answer, Hector, and continue this with, why do you think others should get involved with the IADD and volunteer with us?
You know, I think there's a lot of people out there that are like me, and that have been thirsting for additional knowledge in the industry. Sometimes you're that sharpest tool in the shed that might be at your company. But when you get out there and you open up this world of getting involved and really tying in and bringing that, you're that open door to the outside, you know, and you're that go-to person, but you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your company to be as knowledgeable as you can to benefit not only, you know, the company itself. You know, it's like a fruit tree, right? Whatever you add to it, you know, we all bear the fruit of it, whether it's knowledge, business, what have you. But at the same time, to go out and to get involved and to share that with other people that, you know, maybe 5 years behind you, that's something great. You know, it's not, you know, I've reached the pinnacle of something. We've reached the pinnacle of something. And if we could strive as a team to get there and to be involved and whatever info or whatever desire you have, knowledge to share, every bit of that, it would be welcomed at the IADD for sure. You know, you don't have to be anything. You can get involved with any small part of it, guys, and grow into it. You know, I didn't like speaking in public and doing all that fun stuff, but I feel real comfortable here. You know, this is what I know. This is my life's work. And to share it with a bunch of, you know, professionals and have that wealth of knowledge and being able to share that and grow as a person, as a business, and as a team member. It's really awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Sarah, could I ask you the same question? Why do you think others should get involved and volunteer with us?
I think it's really important to add to the team. I mean, we are all going through our Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday through Sunday, you know, just trying to get the job done, and volunteering and being part of a team who can be a relief and a support system to each other is really nice. And it can really remotivate you. I think a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, you know, they get set and complacent and how they do things and how they operate, and get this mentality that things might not always change. And we're in the times where everything changes. And it's really kind of coming together, presenting ideas to each other, and getting us excited about what we do every day. There's never a feel of competition when you're in this group. There's never this pressure of having to know as much as the next guy. It's always this open forum where everyone's teaching each other, no matter what aspect of the business it is. And it's important to all team up and continue doing that, and making the newer people, or the people who have been there a long time who didn't think they had a voice, understand that there's always a voice in this group. There's no pressure to it. So I think it's important that everybody really gets involved and works together.
Very well said. Thank you, Sarah. Giacomo, what would you say your answer would be?
Well, I totally agree with Hector and Sarah on what they said. It's a really nice environment, and really everybody's so open-minded, and this really help. I mean, to stay in and grow up as a person in the industry. I would suggest everybody to volunteer and anyway be involved with IADD, because it's again, it takes you off from the office and from your daily business, and it opens your mind a bit and give you different perspective. And in the other side, you can give something back, contributing to the industry development and for what the industry will be in the future. It's really, it gives the sense to give something to the industry and leave something on the field. So it's a really nice feeling, and I'm really happy to volunteer with IADD, and I will keep on doing so. I really hope someone else can follow us on this.
Fantastic. Thank you, Giacomo. And last but not least, Brent, what would you state?
Well, I agree with Giacomo, Sarah, and Hector. But I want to add this. If you choose to be a member, why would you choose not to be active? Because you, just like anything in life, whether that's a sport you're involved in or your business or like that, you're going to get out of it what you choose to put into it. And if you can sit back and hope the information falls in your lap, or you can be proactive and go look for that. And the IADD and your membership presents the perfect way to address both of those.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you all again for being here and giving us insight into volunteering for the IADD and sharing your personal experiences with us today. The IADD would not be here for the past 50 years without members like you who've taken the time to help push this industry forward. We're looking forward to the next 50 years with all the wonderful benefits IADD will help bring. Now, guys, it's on to our grand finale. We have been continuing the celebration of 50 years as an association by extending the fun in our 8-week-long trivia contest. For the past several weeks, trivia questions have been sent out related to IADD or the industry, answers to which earn participant entries to win the grand prize. The staff has compiled these entries into a random drawing for the chance to win a free year of IADD company membership. Thank you to IADD Diamond Level Corporate Leader Engview Systems for sponsoring the Trivia Grand Prize. We had 66 participants throughout the 8 weeks, submitting a total of 264 entries. That is amazing, guys. Out of those, 163 were correct to the trivia questions and 59 bonus entries were earned. That has made for some stiff competition, but hopefully everyone had some fun testing their knowledge and answering some reflective questions. We would like to highlight a few honorable mentions. Out of the 15 total trivia and bonus questions, these 3 stood out as top entry earners of the competition. Special shout out to Ryan Bettridge for not only answering every single question, but also getting them all correct. Great job, Ryan. You really know your stuff. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. The winner of the IADD's online trivia contest grand prize of drawing is Reynolds of Sun Automation. Congratulations, Frank. The staff will be in touch to further discuss the details of your grand prize. Thank you so much to all those who participated. We hope to continue having fun engaging in events like this in the future. Thank you everyone for coming again, and thank you to all of our lovely panelists. We appreciate all you do for the IADD, and hopefully this has inspired some of you to want to begin volunteering with us. In the chat box, there is a link with more information on how to get started and the different areas of opportunity that await you. This concludes our online open house event. I hope each and every one of you have a lovely day.